So, like, I guess this is going to be the most discussion about Xbox that
Xbox.
has ever occurred in years on this show.
Xbox.
Oh, you have it right
Xbox.
there. There it
Xbox is
is.
here.
Whoa. Hey, there it is. Yeah, mine
So it's a
is back
podcast
there
of
somewhere.
viewers who are not familiar with the story of how I got this Xbox. When I did a Persona 5 Royal stream, they were like, hey, could you play it on the Xbox? I'm like, okay. And I went and bought it and then did the stream and then put it on a desk over there. And it has sat there unturned on the entire time.
Oh, do you mean the Devil May Cry 5 demo machine? the DMC5 demo device? Yeah, that thing booted up the DMC5 demo real nice.
Really good.
It played real good on that. I did enjoy it. And then Dead Space, and then Dead Space later. You know, that was cool too.
Yeah. So I have it wearing headphones so it can't hear us say anything mean.
Oh no.
About Xbox.
Well, that's okay. The hardware will continue to exist.
Wooly,
it's the software that's the
you're right.
The sticking point.
This hardware not going anywhere anytime soon. Definitely not. No matter what anyone tells you, or I tell you, or Phil tells you, the hardware is here to stay.
So you fucking sat and listened to it? You listened to the podcast?
I did a 2-hour stream watching a 22-minute Xbox podcast.
Fill me in, because I got the bullet points.
It was so good.
Oh,
I
man.
loved every second.
The bullet points to me were, hey, we're going to continue making hardware, but also we're going to try to sell software on other competitors' platforms. Games are coming.
That is pretty much, if you wanted to be like, I'm an investor or I'm some idiot that doesn't have fun listening to your executives lie to you, then the takeaway would be Xbox sees future value in expanding the user base of existing games after a certain age to recoup costs or make more money. Right?
4 games unannounced, totally not going to be Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded.
Absolutely, definitely not going to be those 4 games that everyone absolutely knows. No way. I think the funniest part of that is that Hi-Fi Rush is the most known to be coming to the Switch. Like, it's the most, like, there's the shirts that got data mined out and all that, and we're all sitting here. I'm like, Xbox isn't telling us about Hi-Fi Rush because Nintendo gets to tell us about Hi-Fi Rush, and it feels like no, we can't tell you. We'd love to tell you, but Nintendo said we can't tell you.
So, and I guess the sentiment also seems to be like, behind this is the giant looming is this a Starfield test?
No.
Are we going to try to make some Starfield PlayStation money?
So I'm gonna have to try and break this down in like a before the bullet points. I need to try and like give you like a holistic picture. It's like the whole thing was this massive like masturbation jerk off session.
Oh boy. Love those.
So they're in an Xbox like studio and they're all wearing Xbox and the interviewer is wearing Xbox and her question cards have the Xbox logo on them and they're sitting in Xbox chairs with like a green background behind them. And you're like, okay, this is the media people over at Xbox doing the Xbox thing. But there was a part that really like broke the illusion where the lady asked him a slightly not as softball question possible. And Phil kind of gave like a half chuckle and he looks down and is like, wow, that's a great question. I'm like, that's a question you told her to ask you, Phil.
What was...
You wrote that for you to answer.
What was the overhand ball question then?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Okay.
I don't even remember.
Um.
Um,
So
so that's the tone. That's the tone of like, oh, hey, man, oh, it's slick and it's smooth and
I mean,
it's just the natural step forward for our business, and it doesn't mean anything else is changing. This is just, the way things are going to go, and we're going to give you some reasons, and those reasons are going to be internally inconsistent, and in some cases outright falsehoods.
please don't sell shares. Please don't
Um,
sell. Please don't.
so so the gist of it is, they say we're bringing 4 games to other platforms that are over a year old, and we really feel that their community, they phrase it like their community could benefit from being on more platforms. And the underneath of this is Xbox, or Phil rather, being like, man, it's just great for everybody to play games wherever. It doesn't matter what box you're on. It's great for games to be played together with everybody, right? Like, isn't that word, like, it's for the community? And then, like, later on in that day, in a separate interview, there's like an insane quote from Phil going like, yeah, I don't know who that helps for Helldivers to only be on PlayStation and on the PC. I really don't know who that serves, or, what good that does. Like, people are buying PlayStations to play Helldivers, Phil. That's why.
Right. Okay. So it's the attempt to create the.
I'm just a little guy.
Feature.
I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little birthday boy.
Right.
And they're not big titles, but also we're never going to say never. And this is definitely not a test to see if we can make more money off of putting games on a new platform than selling the box. But also, hey, you know what's really successful, Wooly? What's incredibly successful? Game Pass. Game Pass is so successful. Game Pass is so successful that they saw double-digit growth in Game Pass subscriptions over the last quarter. Double-digit growth. That means at least 10%, right? That's huge.
Okay.
Right? Now, let's ignore the fact that like 5 minutes prior to this, Phil Spencer said that the layoffs had to happen because the industry didn't grow during the pandemic, which is like not true. It was like the most boom period ever for video games that have ever been in the history of anything. But double-digit Game Pass growth. Double-digit. Now, granted, they didn't tell anybody about this but shareholders before this, but they rolled Xbox Live Gold into Game Pass numbers because they changed the name of Xbox Live Gold to Game Pass Core.
How about that? The basic online subscription. Yeah, okay.
So actually, the Game Pass that we're talking about has been seeing double-digit losses in terms of growth.
But when you incorporate the renamed existing service that has
look at number go up.
Then there you go.
Because there's 24 million people who pay for Xbox Live Gold, but there's only 11 million people who play for Game Pass.
Gotcha. Cool.
And hey, dude, Diablo
4's coming in March, right?
What's that?
Diablo's coming in March.
Diablo's coming for March for everybody with Game Pass. No, wait, not you people. Sorry, with good Game Pass. They had to put out a press release afterwards.
With Game Pass, real.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. So when you want to tell the shareholders you're getting growth, it's everybody. But when it's like anybody that would actually get anything, you're like, no, you stupid babies, no.
Cool. Okay.
And then they said, not only are we not getting out of hardware, Wooly, not only is Xbox not getting out of hardware,
we've actually got some sandwiches that are also Game Pass. Everyone who buys one of our sandwiches,
Game Pass. That's the Game Pass sandwich.
Game Pass sandwich sales. So the full Game Pass family brand has gone up really every day. Multiple people
every day.
Multiple. Yep.
So not only are they not going to get out of the hardware business, Wooly, but there was like a couple of predictions I made And one of them was like, the Xbox is always going to be the best place to play the Game Pass games because they're just made for this. And they use like Power World as an example multiple times. At which point I have to point out that like Power World was objectively terrible on Game Pass. People were trying it on Game Pass and then buying the Steam version because the Game Pass version was like multiple patches out of date because they had to deal with Microsoft compliance.
And it's an early access game on Steam.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly,
So it was like that was the worst version of the game you could buy. But they're like, oh man, Power World's a big success for us. But yeah, not only are they not going to stop making hardware because it's the best place to play Game Pass games, but the next Xbox that they're making,
that they're committed to, yep,
is going to be the biggest technological leap between two consoles in the history of video games. And we're not going to talk about anything more than that.
Okay.
Even though that means that's either not true or the fucking thing's going to cost like $800.
So this shift then is obviously going forward, this is how do we recoup losses on 2.5 generations of failure?
Well, they just spent $65 billion on Activision. Like that money doesn't come from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Money like the timing is like money has to happen now, and it's a shame that like Activision Blizzard started to like burn down and lose a bunch of talent like during the buying process. That sucks.
How sick would it be if the next generation of Xboxes are a bunch of towers and laptops where the like fucking logo has been stickered over the fucking Asus or Republic of Gamers or fucking Alienware logo? Just
Woolie, like this thing is already pretty close to that. Like you're basically describing. There were rumors. I don't know if you saw any of these, but there were people talking about a little while ago that the next Xbox was going to be like $800 to $1,000, and it was basically going to be like a specialty boutique console that's like a built-in Alienware.
Yeah, and this thin console seems to have, looks like there's a keyboard in the middle there, but I can't open it to really confirm. It's just, I don't know. But anyway, plug your controller in. Yeah.
And then after that, they gave some interviews in which had like Phil Spencer like port begging Helldivers, because that's their sale to consumers is like, listen, man, yeah, we're porting these games, but it's for you, man. So there's more people like for you to play with, bro. That like Grounded and like that's got like people playing it.
Did you play Helldivers, by the way? Because I have questions about it.
I absolutely played Helldivers.
Okay, great. Well, I'll do that later.
I have a Helldiver stream open in another window right now, so I can get the Twitch drop.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, was there any clue as to why this was dropped in the form of a podcast?
I was talking to I don't remember who I was talking to, but we were sitting around. I was like, this shit it was you. No, it wasn't. What? Anyway, point is, it's like we had all this rumor shit last week, right? At the very beginning of last week or 2 weeks ago. And their only response was, we're going to have a podcast update in fucking 10 days. And then we got to see panic sales and doomsaying and people selling their fucking boxes. And it's like, this could have been like the Microsoft Twitter account posting like an image that's like, yes, we are bringing a couple of games to other consoles, and then this and the reasoning, and right. Like the podcast element just seemed like so self-indulgent.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, like maybe this is a soft little like flirtatious to Sony like multiplat tonight, tonight, King. Tonight though,
they have absolutely opened the door for just having to endure the most intolerable like port begging ever from now on. Like Nintendo and Sony are never going to put their games on your platform, like ever,
Yeah, no,
ever. They're never going to do it.
That's the like
They're crazy about it. They're never going to do it.
well, and again, it's like once the back is to the proverbial wall and it comes crashing down, then it's like, okay, a switch from Sega hardware to Sega software occurs. However, starting with 4 soft things and then seeing where it goes from there. I mean,
And they're like, hey, we're not bringing Indiana Jones or whatever over, but we're never going to say never. And it's like it's a financial test. It's hey, how much money do we make on this versus how much money do we lose over here?
more or how much do we lose over here, and how do we lose less given the state of affairs?
Now I'd like to point out that there's somebody in the chat who said it's weird. Pat seems more anti-Xbox than usual. My usual stance on Xbox is that I don't think I've talked about it for like 2.5 years at all. I don't like I have one that I don't use, and it doesn't have any exclusive games that I need to play on it. With Microsoft doing like a weirdly bad job and then doing these podcasts that are like hilarious, they're hilarious. I do suggest you watch it, Woolie, because I was like sitting there like mouth agape a couple times going, what you just said isn't true. It's just not true.
I mean,
it's a lie.
Again, at the end, it's just, this is I'm fine with the bullet points on it, to be honest. The takeaways being simple enough that it's like, okay, every single one of these stupid flubs is completely that reaping what you sow, but at the same, but competition good, as we said last time.
I would like Xbox to hang out and stay.
You need Sony can't be left to its own world to just do what it wants while Nintendo is over here on the moon colonizing.
I will
the moon.
say though that like when you say competition, that doesn't necessarily just mean there are other people in the market at all. Competition means you have to have competitors that compete.
Yes, it has to actually be a race. there needs to be something to exactly, because if it's Sony can now ignore you, oh look, you're here, you exist, that's cool. Anyways, on to whatever the fuck we were doing. Then no, that's not the same thing. It needs to be.
And like when I was talking about Xbox on my stream, it's just like the fucking company's been so fucking badly managed. Like everybody makes fun of Sony and Shuhei Yoshida for going Demon Souls. This game's a fucking piece of shit. Get this out of my Atlas can publish it, whatever. That was a stupid mistake, right? But I was going down the list of things that Microsoft has dropped the ball on, and it's like Resident Evil 4 could have been an Xbox original exclusive, but their meeting with Mikami went so bad that like he just left and walked across the street and gave it to Nintendo. They passed on, and he felt like disrespected too. So like he did not want to work with them ever again. They passed on Genshin Impact. Like Genshin went to them and be like, "Do you want us to be exclusive?" And they're like, "Nah." They passed on Spider-Man. That's the funniest one. Because remember, Insomniac used to be
the fucking
with Microsoft, and they're like, "Hey, you want a Spider-Man game?" They're like, "Nah."
Yeah, I remember when I thought, I mean, well, many people thought that like, boy, that FF7 on N64 fumble is like one of the biggest ever. I can't believe.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad.
That happened. I'm sure everyone will learn from this lesson and surely not repeat it.
And like just I'm not able to find it right now, but I was seeing people talking about that Halo devs are looking at some of the 343 Halo devs are looking at Helldivers, and they're like, we pitched this exact game to Microsoft like 6-7 years ago, but with Halo. And they were like, no, that's a bad idea. Don't do that.
Interesting. I see. Okay.
And just like, oh man.
Yeah. Um,
Hey, I want to ask you a question because I've been workshopping this idea for a while, and you genuinely know more about how the not just the inner workings of the console management work, but also the people that work there and make decisions. So, what's his name? What was that fuck's name? Don Matrick, right? Online only. Get the Connect. Blah blah blah. And we got a console for you. It's called the Xbox 360, right? The first nail
the
in Xbox's
the architect
coffin.
of the sharing flop. Yes.
But what was more important for that was they talked about how, like, well, it's going to be online only, so we're going to try and get like a Steam thing going on where games go on sale more often because we don't have to worry about shipping, blah blah blah, right? And I remember they would say that in interviews, and the response was, "Oh, cool. So is that going to happen?" And they're like, "Well, we're going to try." It's like, but that's you. No, you didn't offer any. You said maybe a nice thing could happen, right? And so like that doesn't have any like punch to it. And I was wondering because you see Epic, they gave people all the money to put the exclusive games, right? And then the second thing that Epic did is Epic's like, we're gonna take our cut from 30% down to 12%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now instead of offering direct money, they're like, we'll take 0% cut for a year. We'll let you put the game on our store for free now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about, like, if they had come out and said, hey man, yes, the Xbox One is online only. We need to check your digital purchase. You won't be able to be making used games. But we will alter the way that our cut with developers goes so that we can tell you that Xbox games will be $10 cheaper than their competing platform. Because here's the thing. That would have at least given you a carrot to go along with the stick.
Yeah.
There was no carrot for the online only shit. It was the cloud.
Yeah.
But then
yeah. I don't know if that's enough, but I also feel I might overestimate how much people would hate that shit because the idea, I mean, honestly, like, the $10 you're saving on that fresh purchase is still way more money spent than your ability to go buy it secondhand, which is what you're taking away from people. The ability to walk into the GameStop and buy it super marked down because I want to play that game for whatever, 20% of what it costs or whatever after the fact. Like it's still asking for more money than people are willing to spend, or more money than people have. So I don't think it would have been enough. Like,
but it would have been something.
It would have been something. It would have been something
instead of the nothing that they did.
But the amount of times to, like, our friends would, like, walk in, take a bag full of their games, throw them in, and then trade those games in for new things, and walk out having spent like $5 or so and getting a fresh thing. Like, people that want to do that, or people that want to go in and go like, I got like $30. What do I got here? That the $60 or $50 10 less in that generation would not have been enough. Also, always online. Like, that's a begrudging thing that like people could eventually accept, but like I still think it's not enough of a carrot.
This is a slight diversion, but it is Xbox related. I've been informed that the FF14 beta is starting soon on the Xbox Series S and X. So that's cool. Crossplay among everybody. That's great. I've also been informed that the game requires you to have an Xbox Live Core subscription in addition to the game subscription, unlike every other platform.
So you got to pay for both.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So if you don't already have Xbox like Game Pass Core or whatever,
it's the most expensive way to play the game.
It's like $35. Did they relent on that? I didn't see them relent on that. It's fucking stupid.
Cool. Yeah. it just you the that was really, yeah, that was the beginning of the end on it. And um I don't know, like, here's the thing too as well, like, if they're going, okay, we have these four, and then let's say they commit to every exclusive is actually now going to be not exclusive.
Well, because they said, well, these guys are over a year old,
Yes,
right?
sure. But even if they weren't, like, how much of the needle does this move? Like, that's the
The
thing.
needle. Which needle are you describing
The
here?
needle of, like, being able to make money to recoup costs on taking your exclusives over to PlayStation, right?
Oh, a lot.
So you've got a Starfield like giant title. What comes behind that? Like,
What
what
do you mean? What comes behind that?
in terms of Microsoft exclusivity?
Oh, you got you have your game. Fuck me. I was about to say you have your games made by Microsoft first party studios, but I don't. What is that?
Like,
What fucking first
like,
party studios?
okay, yeah, Forza, okay, Halo,
Right.
like what? That's kind of the thing, is like, what is the, what is the rollout look like? Once
Okay,
the big
so
things
we're doing the
Flight
the
Simulator.
we're doing old games that are small and have communities. The next up would be Halo Infinite because it's a live service game, and you can play it for free. Right, the multiplayer for Halo Infinite.
And I would even say, like, not talking about like hypothetical new unannounced games. I mean, like, existing things that.
Yeah, no, it'd be Halo Infinite.
Yeah. Okay.
Would be the next one on PlayStation, and like they're positioning like Xbox is going to be the best place to play these games, and I'm really torn because like Xbox is like already not the best place to play almost any game. It is always the personal computer or maybe the PlayStation, depending.
I mean, personally, I'm just this type of person that, like, I don't really want to tweak settings that much when I'm a bit tired of that. So I kind of
Everyone is.
I go for PS5 for just
I hate
keeping it simple.
But like
it would be funny
it's
though to enter a world where like all these exclusives are jumping over and like KI is not freed and they're just like,
It's
you
just
fucking
KI.
let us out. Let us out, god damn it.
It's just this strange situation because they've said that like, no, we're definitely going to have another console and it's going to be very big and very expensive. And I'm sitting here going like, why would I buy that console when I now have the assumption that like any games that are actually exclusive to the platform will come over wherever you can put them if I wait like
If you just wait it out.
a year. I think there was a weird, so when we're watching the Xbox presentation and Phil's blowing smoke up our ass and all that, there was this incredibly strange subcontext underneath it, which is like, games used to be about moving hardware, but now it's about the games, and exclusivity doesn't matter. And I'm like sitting here and I'm like, every single person I know is foaming at the mouth because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming out in like a week, Phil.
That is
Exclusives do matter. There are people out there buying PlayStations right now to play that game, and they'll probably pick up other games. But more importantly, because now we're talking about, like, Phil in that interview like 2 years ago was like, or maybe last year, I don't remember, but it was like, the digital library is what fucked us, right? The fact that everybody's got a bunch of PlayStation games now that are going to forward compatible, that fucked us. And it's like, well, FF7's right the fuck there, man. It's gonna get way worse next week or whatever the week afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know that like that exact transition point is the one where everyone's giant Steam libraries and everyone's giant digital things are like rolling forward. I don't know what uh, generation will hit where they'll cut that off. I imagine they don't want you going more. They'll probably it'll probably be like the last two or so incorporated, because after a certain point, like there's a level of like, yes, it's anti-consumer, but fuck you, too bad. Just get the new thing or rebuy it or so. Nintendo seems to not give a fuck about that and just have it be like, okay, well, it'll be the last one at best. You know, but
Nintendo's never gonna put a fucking Mario game on a Sony PlayStation.
no. I know. I just mean the rolling forward digital library, like that,
Right.
that everyone has, that they're permanently invested in.
I mean, fuck, Switch 2 might actually start that going if it's backwards compatible. There's no reason to think that.
But
your
there
Switch
will
games
be,
won't.
but there will be a point where, like, there will be a cutoff that is like, yeah, too bad if the new thing will just not play this old of a thing, And if you've got your giant
maybe.
library, too bad for you.
Maybe if it would be the point where they have like it will be a concerted effort to include backwards compatibility going forward.
Yeah,
but, like people are buying games with the assumption of forward compatibility.
Well, yeah. So the other way is the Xbox One way of going. Okay, we have certain titles that are going to be available backwards compatible, and you'll have access to those. But it's a select number of popular ones, as opposed to the entire library. Because perhaps it's like software emulated or something like that.
So somebody asked a great question in the chat that pairs into this. Dazed Cookies asks, why would I buy a PS5 when God of War, Last of Us, Uncharted, and Spider-Man are all on PC? Literally every exclusive besides Bloodborne and Demon Souls. That's a great point. Exclusives are kind of, except for Nintendo, exclusives are kind of not a big deal anymore because everything comes to PC. Well, PCs are expensive and they fucking break and they're annoying to use. Like that's the reason. The reason is cost.
You also have to keep up.
You have to keep up, and it's a pile of shit. And sometimes the game come out and it don't work with your bullshit, and it sucks. Whatever. Like there's always going to be a place for a console, but I don't understand what Microsoft is thinking long term about selling consoles at all. If one console is going to have all of the Sony games and half of the Xbox games, and the other console is going to have the Xbox games and none of the Sony games. Like the Xbox original was way stronger than the PS2, but the PS2 had like 10 times as many games. So you bought a fucking PS2.
Yeah. So, well, again, it's like it's the your attachment rate will matter less, and you're now just looking entirely at software sales, and you become, I don't know, whatever percentage, you become 50% less dependent on hardware sales, considering it's already lagging.
So I feel strange. I feel like they are deeply committed to the hardware. And I don't know why. Because if they think that they'll make more money selling games as a third party, then just go be a fucking third party.
If this new thing that they're simultaneously announcing is also the biggest step forward, and will, like that's going to be something.
Oh, you know what it is?
Back over. Then yeah, that business plan is in diametric opposition to the multi-platform one.
You know what I think it is? I think it was. I'm not sure. I think it was Chris Wolfhart was talking about this. So Best Buy, the electronics store that you go to because you want to look at their TVs up before you buy them on Amazon, has decided. I don't know if you saw this, but physical media in Best Buys is on its way out. They're in the process of removing physical media from Best Buy stores because they felt that physical media is on its way out and that nobody cares about it, and the digital media is all the way forward because of the information they researched during the pandemic, because physical media sales went down because people didn't walk outside their house because they didn't want to catch the plague. So they started the process of removing physical media from their stores like recently, right? Well, before they even started to do it, it was like actually really obvious that like most people don't buy digital. Actually, most people buy things physically, and that would be like a massive mistake. But the process took so long to get going and to become enshrined as like a fucking like plan for their business and spread it out all over that they can't stop it. like like they're gonna
It
pull the discs off the shelves
they they
because
they they began
the
the
decision was
process.
made like a year and a half ago, and now they can't fucking it's done, right? And I'm sitting here going like, if Microsoft has decided they want to be a fucking third party after the Activision Blizzard acquisition, why don't they just get out of the console business? Oh, because they have a console.
It's already in people's hands. There's multiple price
They've
points for
already
it.
sent
They've
it
already
out.
committed
They've
to
spent the money.
It's there. It exists. It's on the shelves. They also have a team working on the upcoming one. By the way, if you work in that department, I'm sure your jobs are...
Get your fucking CV good and ready.
So, did you hear about how the energy at DICE was real? Like, there's two things that everyone was walking around talking
the theme
about.
is survive.
Survive 2024 and fuck Embracer. That was it. People just walking around with cocktails in hand, chatting it up with each other, going, "Hey,
oh, hey, Susie's in the chat. Hey, Susie.
Survive 2024." Yeah. That's what the word on the street is.
Well, here's the thing, right? Even the
God,
most
objective, survive.
Even the most predatory like firm that like cannibalizes existing businesses for their resources and talent does more than Embracer Group, because Embracer Group bought all that shit for that merger that didn't go through and have just been like slashing every project that costs money to cook, and like they're buying it's like they have like a hyperfixation, and they're like, oh, I bought all I'm gonna be, hey, listen, I'm gonna start drawing. Okay, so I went out and I got a canvas, and I got my paints, and I got my brushes, and I got my fucking pencils, and I got my drawing tutorials on YouTube, and I made some friends in an art Discord, and I'm gonna start drawing, and then they drop like a little thing of paint on the floor, and they go, fuck it. And they just take the whole thing and just put it in a dumpster outside. And a friend of theirs goes like, you could have sold that. That was all brand new. Never used. You could have just sold that to somebody who wanted it and got some of your money back. They're like, no, fuck it. Right in the trash.
It's almost as if our overruling principle is to always maximize shareholder value in any given situation.
Yeah, even for
it's almost
even for like
quote unquote.
Even for like a cutthroat business, it's kind of like strange that they would say that so bluntly, because like,
well,
it's bad for your long-term business.
So, but catch the the wildness of that statement going alongside the 1,400 this week. Ring the bell. Jobs that were layoffs that occurred. That statement going alongside Larian's acceptance speech, going up and basically,
privately owned. You should do that.
We don't have shareholders, but we also don't think about them, and that's like just straight up going like, yeah, shit sucks. It's really bad. Sorry that everything is this abysmal. We're not making this. We tend to not make decisions that are just based on how much money we're going to make off the thing.
So like we've moved into like more of like a economic political issue. But we only know about video games because we're stupid.
End of the quote being, building games that are actually fun are what are going to make you the most money. That's it. Anyway, go
on. That like. Okay, why do you make your company public? Because you need capital. Why do you need capital? Because shit's expensive, right? You need a lot of money to pay people. You need a lot of people to have an office. You need a lot of people for equipment, etc. Right? But it's been shown like over and over and over. It's like, wow, Steam is an incredible service that has maintained its incredible lead over all of its direct competitors because all of their features and all of their rollouts and all of their focuses have been like long-term focused for the health of Steam. It's more stable, it has more features, it works better, and it's cheaper than literally every single all of its competitors because they don't have quarterly reports to actually deal with ever. Right? Larian's the same way. They had the cash. They said, we're going to work on this fucking thing for 6 years until we think it's the best game ever. And they put out, and hey, look at that.
It's
amazing.
As opposed to a system where you're basically, bending and breaking everything over the whims of someone who wants to jump in, watch their shit double in a quarter, and then jump the fuck out.
Yeah, the strangest thing. And so they're making like .com bubble mistakes, right? Like, it's all about this quarter. It's all about this quarter. But they're we're talking about video games. Video games don't work on quarters. They take 2 to 5 years to make.
Nah, Wall Street, bro. Wall Street. Run it.
Dude, it takes at least 8 quarters to make a video game.
I'm all in. You're about to release your game. Fucking all in, double this, or I'm on the roof. Go. Now. Answer my question. Yeah, it's anyway, so I mean, I suppose that, well, whatever. There's further layoff news to hit when we actually get into the news. But,
yay.
But hooray for Hi-Fi Rush, soon to be enjoyed by more people.
Oh, dude. So here's the thing. Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Grounded, and what's the fourth? Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
They're good. People will enjoy those games. So hooray. And, gamers win. Listen, Woolie. Gamers are winning overall.
As a whole.
Yeah.
Gamers win. No matter how many layoffs occur, no matter what's going on. Gamers
now, if you're
win.
sitting there
Quadruple A,
going...
baby.
But Phil Spencer, I bought an Xbox Series X because you told me it was the best console to play Obsidian's Avowed on. And I'm sitting here watching 2 Obsidian games go to other platforms. And I really wanted to play God of War. But hey, man, I figured that playing Obsidian games was a better... Fuck, dude. What the hell?
Nah, we all gonna make it. maybe just in brackets, we all not go make it.
I feel like there's a factor people don't like to talk about this because it's irrational, but like when you buy one of these fancy consoles that costs $200 to $500 and you're like, I'm doing it so that I can see the games that I want come out on the thing, there is an emotional attachment there. And there is a genuine feeling of, what the fuck, dude? I gave you the money so you put the games on the box so I could play with the... Like, that's not nothing. That is real. People are feeling that. And it's not entirely undeserved.
In the future, when you throw out a range, instead of saying 2 to 500, can you say 2 to 699?
I can.
Okay, I'd appreciate that.
I think that's... Genuinely, I think that is lowballing it. I think we are going to see a $799 US Xbox in the next 18 months.
Well, I mean, you just have to come out to the podium and go, guys, it's a PC. Like, what do you want from us? It's a computer. Like, it's gonna have a Windows boot up. When you start.
Do you get the feeling that
you're gonna see Steam open and then full screen? And then it's gonna load a custom Microsoft or so fucking UI.
Is this just big picture? Is this just...
Shut up! No. A mouse is gonna be in the corner with the little pixels slightly off screen.
Every time you come out of a cutscene, there's just gonna be a mouse cursor dead center in the middle of the screen, and once you touch the controller, it'll disappear, and you're like, "That's fucking weird."
Why would it? Huh? Oh, why is it asking me about my OneDrive? Why does it want me to update that weird little?
Wow. Do you get the feeling that the hardware guys have not gotten to sit at the table where this decision was made? Because if you're making like a big, like one of the most expensive consoles ever, and you're sitting there going, okay, so what exclusive games are we going to put on it? Nothing?
Well,
sick.
Well, you don't want... You see, while they should be dusting off their CVs, you don't want to actually give them the clue that they need to do that.
Oh, I'm being told that Helldivers on PS5 does do that. The mouse shows up on screen.
No. Terrible.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no, the people in those departments just get fucked over the moment the public finds out they do as well. It's one of those bits, you know. You keep it close to your chest for the power play.
But yeah, no, the Xbox podcast was incredible. I loved it. You know, Don Matrick really just shit in a bucket and gave it to Phil and told him to hold it. So I feel bad for him, but I don't think that the solution was for him to continue shitting into the same bucket and then complain that it's really heavy.
Well, this is what you inherited. You inherited the legacy. What are you gonna do? Not shit?
I'm gonna poop in it. That's what it's for, right? No, Phil, god damn it. You just gotta hold it.
All right.